Yo, Shawarma video. According to this guy, Tanner Shuck, you don't need these two things to get jacked. What he says is true, especially for those who are trying to get stronger. A great example of somebody with this goal would be a power lifter. In my workout plan, I actually only do 3 exercises per muscle group. When doing this, you want to make sure that you are doing compound movements, because in compound movements you'll use multiple muscle groups and you'll be able to use more weight. You'll experience a lot more muscle growth using compound movements than isolation exercises, because when you do an isolation exercise, you're only targeting one muscle group, which limits your ability to lift heavy. Now, if you don't have a gym membership, you should not have any excuses. In my case, I only work out at home, and I've built an incredible physique. Well, at least I'd like to think so. Now, obviously, if you only work out at home, you're going to be limited to certain equipment. Now, the only time I'm able to do compound lifts is when I'm at school in my weightlifting classes. Now, if you have a weightlifting class provided at your school, I would recommend you sign up for it if you can only work out at home. When he says this, I believe when he says this, he's mainly talking about training. Now, I don't agree with this statement entirely, but in some cases, he's actually right. Scientific studies help you build more muscle. There have actually been some recent studies, and then there's been some videos on the topic of long length partials. And you know there have been studies on this topic, and the study showing that this technique works. You can actually implement this in your training to help you speed up your muscle building process. Now, even though he makes a great point when he says that science can confuse many people when it comes to training, you don't need to spend time reading studies, because there's a ton of videos on YouTube that explain the studies. Some great channels I would recommend would be Jeff Nippard and Jeremy Ethier.